So this first term is a positive, so we'll change that to a negative. We'll change this positive x to a negative or a subtract x here. And then our add 7 to a minus 7, right? But when we get to that end parenthesis on this particular polynomial, we're stopping. So we're only going to flip the signs on the terms in the parentheses that directly follow that subtraction sign. So we're done now changing signs. We don't need to worry about this polynomial because it has an add or a plus in front, okay? So we'll leave that alone. The term with our highest exponent is our x cubed. You can see that we have an x squared here, and we do have x terms. So the columns that we're going to need an x cubed column, x squared, an x column, and then a column for our constants, or those numbers that don't have a variable with them. Now, when we're sorting these terms or combining like terms, we want to not forget the 3 out front. It's a constant. It's just a monomial. It has one term, and it's a constant, no variable, right? So we're going to line that out. That's an add 3 because we don't see a subtraction sign, so we know it's a plus or a positive. Okay, then we're going to put our minus 3x cubed in our x cubed column, minus x, minus 7, minus 2, plus 2x cubed, minus x, and then plus 5x squared. And notice how I lined out all the terms as I sorted them into our columns. That just means I'm really being careful so that I'm not forgetting a term, and I'm really being careful about those signs, right? So the sign to the left is the sign that comes with that term, right? So now we're going to combine these like terms. We've sorted all of our terms into like terms. Same variable, same exponent, right? And when I do that, when I combine like terms, I'll get a negative x cubed here, plus 5x squared, minus 2x, and then when we combine the positive 3 with our negative 7 and our negative 2, we're going to get a negative 6. Right? And that right there is our answer. We're in standard form because that highest exponent comes first. So that means we have a third degree polynomial, and our leading coefficient is negative 1. All right? So that's our example number 3. All right. Let's go ahead and do example number 4. For example number 4, we have 5x to the 4th minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 10 minus 4x cubed minus 2x to the 4th minus 3x. And the first thing we're going to do is notice that we have a subtraction sign in front of parentheses. So we know that we have to change the subtract to an add, and now we need to flip the signs on all of the terms inside the parentheses that follow that subtract sign. So this first term is a positive. We'll change it to a negative. This negative will change to a positive, and also this term, okay? Be really careful noticing those subtraction signs in front. This is called distributing your negative, all right? You always need to do that when you're combining like terms, all right? We've got x to the 4th terms, to the 3rd, to the 2nd, so we need columns for x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, or x cubed, x squared, x, and then our constant, okay? And now we'll sort. Positive 5x to the fourth minus 3x squared. Now, you'll notice I'm putting it in that x squared column, so be very careful that you're putting it in the correct column. They're not always in order, right? We're putting them in order for our answer, but you want to make sure that you're adding the correct term in the correct column. So you're sorting your terms or combining like terms correctly. Here's a plus 10 minus 4x cubed goes in that, oops, I almost put it in our x to the fourth column. It goes in our x cubed column, right? So be really careful. Plus 2x to the fourth plus 3x. All right? Now we've sorted all of our terms, and now we're going to combine like terms. So these will combine to give me a 7x to the fourth. Because it's our first term, we don't need to write that positive. We've got a negative 4x cubed. Nothing to combine it with. Nothing to combine with our negative 3x squared. When we don't have anything to combine with it, we'll just bring it down. 2x plus 3x will give us 5x. And then we're going to have a plus 10 here. All right? So our polynomial is in standard form. Our exponents are in descending order. It's a fourth degree polynomial, and our leading coefficient is 7, right? And that is our answer for example number 4. All right. Let's take a look at example number 5. Example number 5. So for example number 5, we have 9x to the fourth minus 7x cubed minus 10. Then we have minus 2x to the fourth plus 5x cubed minus 2x squared minus 20. And we'll notice that we have a subtract sign there. We've got to distribute that negative. When we do that, that will become an add. Our first term, where we don't see a sign, becomes subtract, because that first term has an invisible add, right? This add 5x cubed will become subtract. Our subtract here will become add. The subtract here will become add. So be very careful. Always be looking out for those negatives to distribute your negative, okay? We have x to the fourth terms, x to the third terms, x squared terms. Oh, my square is kind of over there. But you'll notice we don't have any x terms. So I don't need a column for my x terms. But I do want to make sure I have a column for all the kinds of terms that I do have. So we don't have x terms, so we're going to go right to our constants, right? This is a positive 9x to the fourth, since there's no negative out front. A negative 7x cubed minus 10, that goes in our constant category. Then we have a minus 2x to the fourth minus 5x cubed plus 2x squared and a plus 20. And now we will combine all these like terms or categories, right? So when we combine our positive 9 and our negative 2, we'll get a positive 7x to the fourth. We don't need to write that positive in front. A minus 7x cubed combined with a minus 5x cubed will give us that negative 12x cubed. Now, when we're combining like terms, the variable is not changing and our exponent is not changing. Nothing to combine with our x squared term, so we'll just bring it down. And then that negative 10 combined with our positive 20 will give us a positive 10. All right? Our polynomial is in standard form, okay? It's a fourth degree polynomial. 7 is our leading exponent. All right? And that's our example number 5 answer right here. All right, let's go ahead and do our last example, example number 6. That's our last example for section 3A part 1. This is 3A part 1 examples. Okay? So let's take a look at example number 6. So for example number 6, we have a negative that's in front of our first parenthesis, just out there by itself. Inside we have negative 4x squared plus 5x to the 4th minus 7. Then we have an add sign between before our next set of parentheses. And inside those parentheses we have 7x to the 4th minus 4. Then we have another subtract in another set of parentheses where we have 15 plus 20x squared. So we now have two negatives that we need to distribute. And remember, when we distribute the negative, it's only being distributed to the parenthesis it's in front of. So here's this negative will only pertain to this polynomial here for that first set. Okay? So we'll change that subtract to an add, and we'll change all the signs of every term inside. So this negative will change to a positive, the positive here will change to a negative, and this negative change to a positive. For this next polynomial, we have an add out front, so we don't need to do anything with those signs. But here we've got another subtract, so we've got to distribute that negative like so, where we're going to flip the signs inside and change that subtract to an add. Okay? We've got x to the 4th terms. We don't have any x to the 3rd terms, but we do have x squared terms. We don't have any x terms, but we do have constants. So we need an x to the 4th category. We need an x squared category, and we need a category for our constants. So that first term is a positive 4x squared. And guys, it's really a good idea to bring the sign with your term. All right, and then of course eliminate it once you have it in your sorting columns. Our next term is a minus 5x to the 4th. Then we have a plus 7. This term is still positive, right? We didn't have to do anything with that term. That's a plus 7x to the 4th. We have a minus 4 that goes in our constants column. A minus 15, also a constant. And then we have a minus 20x squared. And when we combine these terms, we'll combine a negative 5 and a positive 7. That'll give us a positive 2x to the 4th. Here we'll combine a positive 4 and a negative 20, and that'll give us a negative 16x squared. Here we're going to combine a positive 7, a negative 4, and a negative 15 to give us a negative 12 for our constant term, okay? And you can see that we're in standard form because our exponents are in descending order. We don't have every single kind of term, that's okay. But this is still a 4th degree polynomial, and our leading coefficient is 2. Definitely in standard form, and that's what our answer is, okay? So make sure that you're always checking for standard form, okay, when you write your answer. And guys, that's all of the examples for 3A Part 1. Thanks for watching.